Since 1945, Weatherby's been building the finest firearms and ammunition in the world. And today, we're proud to continue that legacy from our facility in Sheridan, Wyoming. This is On Our Mark, the Weatherby Podcast.
Today on Our Mark, the Weatherby Podcast, there are rifles built for distance, and then there are rifles built for consequence. These are not rifles born for a shooting bench or a steel range. Cartridges like 416 and 460 Weatherby Mag were forged for moments when the game doesn't run away, when it turns, stares back, and decides whether you're predator or prey. These game animals choose fight, not flight. We're talking about rifles designed for Cape buffalo that don't read the script, for brown bears that close the distance too fast, for hunters who need absolute reliability when adrenaline erases fine motor skills and the margin for error is zero. Because when the rifle comes to your shoulder and the world narrows to one charging silhouette, history matters, power matters, not your shoulder. And the rifle you choose may be the only voice you've got left.
Let it bark.
Let it go. There you go.
That was good. I like when you do those.
Yeah, it kind of just gets us in the podcast mood, right?
I get like pumped. Yeah, it's like a pregame speech right there.
I like it. Man, so we have admittedly probably neglected the dangerous game rifle scene for a little while. So I would say probably about the time I joined Weatherby almost 8 years ago, we just started seeing kind of a trending downward on some of those big bore cartridges. We had the original Mark V DGR that was in that, and it just kind of got a little bit old. Still a great rifle, but we were like, man, we need to update it, and then we just didn't, and we were just without it for a while. And the last couple show seasons, we get a lot of questions again for bringing back a big bore dangerous game rifle with irons, ready to go, out of the box. So we brought back two.
Yeah, we kind of called it the little big bore revival that we got going on here with these two rifles. And yeah, I think with the last DGR we had, it was kind of like that. If you know to call customer service and special order it, we were making a few over the last couple of years, but haven't really had an inline option where we were taking back orders and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we kind of had two ideas. And we were split. Like, do we do a traditional wood stock, or do we do a composite stock that you can't hurt going through crazy brush? And so we just did both.
Yeah, and I think that's a great option, because if you don't come out with both, you're going to have two camps of guys. When you think of, going over on like a traditional African safari, the Monte Carlo with the fiberglass stock's probably a lot more practical for going through the brush. But when you just kind of have that, like, I don't know, that feel of going over there, a wood stock just seems right.
It does. So we've got this new Mark V Frontier that is basically a really, really, really nice piece of walnut with cross bolts, which are like these kind of like reinforced darker wood that go across between the action just for some extra oomph in the stock for these big bore rifles, and has iron sights and a barrel band that has your sling, so you can mount it a little higher than you normally would. Just if you're carrying a lot in tight country, you want to be able to whip that thing around a little bit faster. So it gives you an option there, and also the extended magazine, so you have one extra round. And when you're talking about big boy stuff like 460 Weatherby, it takes up a lot of space in the magazine box.
It does. It looks pretty cool. I think a lot of people were excited. We launched these last week, so if you're listening to this, these have been out for a week now, and I think a lot of people like the +1 there, because, man, when they're that big, you don't get very many in there.
Yeah. Then the second one is the basically just an update of the Mark V DGR. So similar color palette to the original DGR, but same Bell & Carlson fiberglass stock. So it's got some little bit of heft to it, which is nice. And then we updated the bolt to the spiral fluted bolt, a little bit bigger bolt knob versus what used to be on the DGR, and same iron sight and barrel band set that was on the Frontier. So 2 very classic looking Mark Vs, but both kind of updated with a few little modern twists, both with Trigger Tech triggers, and available like 375 H&H and up.
Yeah, and then we got a couple Plains games in the Frontier.
Yeah.
But kind of going back to that Mark V trigger, or the Trigger Tech trigger, I'm kind of excited about that. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience shooting big calibers, but I know recoil management is like one of those things that's really important. So when you have a really crisp trigger pull, I think that helps on your recoil management, because if you have like something that's got a lot of give, you kind of get that, you can get that flinch, and when you're shooting these big calibers, that's kind of like the last thing that you want to do, especially with open sights, trying to be a little bit more precise. I think a good crisp trigger pull helps me manage recoil a little bit better.
Yeah, the irons, I mean, we almost like talked about some iron sight stuff. We were shooting some big bore stuff with iron sights this year. And irons aren't the easiest, but these are like really easy to acquire. They're very simple with just like almost like an old Red Ryder style sight setup. So it's fast, which you want, because if you're hunting with one of these in Africa or Alaska where stuff hunts you back, you want to be able to acquire your sight picture quick. I like that it has a hood over the front, so you can just align real easy. But in the moment, even though recoil is substantial, in the moment you could probably scope yourself and you're not even going to notice it, because your heart is going to be pumping.
Yeah. And you talk about those open sights, target acquisition is really important on like that second and third shot, because when you're shooting something like a Cape Buffalo or a brown bear, you're shooting and until it's empty, essentially, like that. So that's really real important stuff, just target acquisition.
Yeah. I have not been able to hunt a big, dangerous game yet. I've actually had a brown bear tag in my pocket before. I saw 0 brown bears, but that was a bummer. In Africa, typically your first shot is with an expanding bullet. And so you'll load in the chamber an expanding like lead core bullet, and then after that, depending on what you're hunting, is like some solids, because it's probably going to be charging right at you, and you got to penetrate a skull.
Yeah, you want bone crushing right
you want
there.
Some bone crushing stuff. So Adam went to Africa a couple years ago, Cape Buffalo, and first shot like right in the pocket, like drilled it in the engine room, and that thing just immediately turned and just started running right at him. And he had like a 1-to-6 loophole on there, scope. So he had already dialed it like back to 1 before shooting, because it's going to charge you. And then he proceeded to get 2 more into it, and it died like feet in front of him, like came to a skidding halt, dust all over the place. And he scoped himself pretty bad. 416.
I was going to say, I think that's like the only time he's ever scoped himself.
I mean, it happens. I don't think he said he didn't even realize it in the moment until he was just like, oh, I'm bleeding. The adrenaline starts. It's game on,
Yeah. So you've been to Africa before.
I have.
So
Plains game.
But you did Plains game.
Yeah.
So is there anything that kind of tickles your fancy on potentially getting over there? I mean, I haven't really got the Africa bug yet. Until this year, I've just been seeing a few people doing some safari stuff. I'm like, man, that would be like an adventure.
I think that's the thing, is that it is an adventure. And if I'm being really honest with myself, I didn't necessarily have a huge, like, I got to go to Alaska drive, beforehand. Then I got there, because I went to film Adam and Brenda, actually, and then got to shoot something, which was a bonus, a zebra and a blessbok. But the amount of animals that you see while you're over there is just insane. And it's truly like you don't know what you're going to see around the next corner. Like, there could be an impala, there could be a wildebeest, there could be an oryx. Just stuff you only see in books for, most of your life. And then you go over there and relatively it's not that expensive to hunt there. The biggest expense is probably getting everything back to the States. But you can go over there, have a really good time, shoot, handful of plains game animals, eat good, have nice accommodations, and probably be less than a guided elk hunt in the States.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, a lot of your expenses gonna be travel too. I mean, I'm sure the plane tickets, a little hefty, but not compared to what it cost.
Get miles.
I was gonna say, just get some United points.
It's an adventure going over there, and I now, back to your question. Yeah, I definitely want to go back. Like, just seeing those. So many different species. Most everything over there is an antelope of some kind. Just being able to see so many types of antelope. I mean, just super, super cool. Like we were in South Africa, which in Limpopo area, where there historically is like big game. They call them like game preserves, high fence, but like huge high fence ranches. It is still a hunt. Like, we never saw the fence.
Yeah, what do they call them? Concessions over there?
Yeah, hunting concessions. So never saw the fence. And like, we drove for like 6 hours. It was a huge ranch. So, I had this thing in my mind where I want to go hunt high fence. That doesn't sound very sporting, but man, like over half our stocks failed because there's eyes everywhere, lots of animals. It was super fun.
It seems like every person who's kind of reluctant to go to Africa, once they go the first time, then they're like, we're going every year. Yeah. Our buddy, Justin Vinton.
Yeah. Shout out
to Justin. He just went for the first time, and it's funny. Our other friend, Dustin, he's going. He tried to convince Justin to go with him, and Justin's like, I'm not doing that. Well, he went with our friends with Hornady.
Yeah.
He went once and is now already rebooked before the Dustin's trip. So now he's going.
He's going to have gone twice.
Twice before he said no to Dustin. He's like, I don't want to do that trip. So it's pretty funny that like once you kind of get bit, I've heard of people being like, I got to go every year.
Yeah.
Justin, when we were hanging out, was telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm not even doing Christmas anymore. We're not doing gifts.
We're just doing Africa.
We're going to do Africa and just save their money for that trip every year.
I think there's something to be said. Most people probably have enough stuff. That's kind of what our family's transitioning to is experiences.
Yeah,
for sure. So, yeah, I want to go back. Definitely. And if I can do a dangerous game while over there, that'd be rad. A buffalo would be pretty sweet. I don't know, some of the other stuff probably a little. Well, probably all of it's out of my out of my pay range, but I can't wait. Hopefully I just go to film again. Like that was pretty fun because then you get the whole hunt experience and then you just are support behind the camera. And so you get every shot.
Yeah, I think something like that or another kind of fun like dangerous game one that I think that I'd be interested in is like Australia where they have the Asian water buffalo.
Yeah.
That seems pretty wild too. I think I'd be interested in doing one of those.
Bantangs?
Bantangs,
which just looks like cow.
It does look like, and they have wild cows. So,
yeah.
I think that'd be interesting. And then probably I'm most interested would be going to Alaska and doing like a brown bear or something like that. Just stalking them on doing like a coastal thing where you're pretty in tight.
Yeah, the brown bear tag I had was part of a moose hunt. And we were in interior Alaska in the Alaska range, and we saw bear sign. But I'm used to like that National Geographic like river of salmon running and just 38 bears just like lounging around. We never found that spot where we were, but
yeah, or like a island like Kodiak where you're doing most of your glassing from the boat.
Yeah,
and then you go and you make a stalk and you can get really close.
That
would be fun.
That would be fun to get in the brown bear's bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, and those Kodiak bears are ginormous.
Dude, you've got to have something that just knocks them down so hard. We did black bears in Alaska, and man, like making good shots, they still took off and run on like a third size black bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you shot a 300 Weatherby, and I remember that was so funny. You're like, where were you at on that follow-up shot?
Yeah.
There's a funny video of Luke just pounding this bear, and I was too magnified in for a follow-up shot, and it was kind of funny. You're like, where were you at on that? Because Luke, you shot like 3 times.
Yeah.
Right away, like put one in perfect, and then just shooting. So,
well, you just don't want them to get into the woods,
the rainforest. Yeah.
Well, and then, I felt pretty good about the first shot, and then he ran off into the woods, and I wasn't sure if I hit him on the other 2 because it just got western. But now you're potentially stalking, in your mind at least, a wounded bear in super thick, basically rainforest, and that's not a fun feeling. So, yeah, and I forget which scope I had on that, but I think the lowest magnification I had was 4 power. Mm-hmm. So if it got real up close and personal, that was going to be exciting. That's where you want those irons.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back.
That was fun. That would be a fun trip to actually do an open sight one, like just the whole stalking situation. Like that was with black bears, but that would be fun to do that too.
Like American bison, buffalo, that would be a fun one too.
That would be pretty cool.
With some 416 Weatherby, 460 Weatherby. I mean, they on John's bison film, what was that, a 3378?
No, he was 300 Weatherby.
300 Weatherby.
Yeah.
It still just kind of took it.
It kind of took it, and then I mean they knew it was a perfect shot, and it took them a minute to tip over.
Yeah, some of those big animals, man, their will to live is insane.
Yeah.
All right. You need to check out some of these new rifles on Weatherby.com. Where can they do that?
Weatherby.com. You just said no way. Yeah, that, or check out your local dealer, and they can get you information on ordering these things. So you can either do it at your dealer or back order them. Learn more on the website.
We will have them at our show cycle that's coming up. So the first one will be
Sheep Show this year.
Show.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have some there. Then we'll be at Western Hunt Expo. And then probably if you're listening to this, where you're most likely to find us would be SCI in Nashville. That's a fun show. And we had a lot of requests for this gun there last year.
Yeah, I bet we could have. Man, yeah, we probably got 30 to 50 questions on 375 H&H. I know a lot of guys go to that show, and it's like their first safari that they're booking. Felt like we had a lot of those guys. We're like, hey, I just booked this hunt, and my guide said I have to have a 375 H&H. What do you got? So
my first Weatherby consumer show would have been SCI 2018. Yeah. There was a guy that came up and bought a deluxe in 416 Weatherby and was super pumped. He, like, his first big boy rifle did not have a hunt plan. Comes back like hours later, like, and just kind of stands around like waiting for a moment to like come and tell you something. And a couple times he like started walking up, but somebody would walk up to me and then we'd start chatting. And so he'd kind of like just like walk off for a second, and he came up and he was kind of sheepish and he was like, "Hey, I'm so pumped about that rifle. I booked a hunt." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. What'd you book?" He's like, "I booked a coal hunt." I'm like, "Okay. I mean, great. What, like, for what?" He's like, a cow. I'm like a cow elk? He's like, "Nope, just cattle."
No way.
I was like, "What are you
That's
talking
pretty
about?"
wild.
He's like, "Yeah, there's a guy that is doing these like coal hunts for cattle, but basically, instead of them killing it, you just kill it, and then you get all of the meat. So you just start getting, basically you're just buying a beef."
That's so wild.
And it's just the price of buying a beef, basically. So I was like, well, that's a clever way to sell a beef.
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, so that's again, we could go down the whole rabbit hole of free range versus and all that good stuff. But for a while, I'm sure it's now priced out, but for a while you could go and kill a bison in the States.
Yeah.
And it would pencil better than going to the grocery store and processing the whole thing. Cause you're like, oh, for like a cow or small bull, I mean, I feel like they're $5,000 or $6,000, maybe more now. But back in the day, they were like $2,500, $3,000 for like a non-trophy bull. It's like that's better than like the meat. The amount of meat you get yield-wise was like 600 pounds of actually ground.
So much meat.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, that pencil's
Well,
way,
especially
way good.
now. I mean, meat prices have gone insane.
Yeah.
Dude, this is way off topic, but man, I really like those Chomps meat sticks. I had to quit buying them.
Yeah, they were like what, like $20 for 8?
Yeah, I mean, it was insane.
Yeah,
You
sad.
could get like 2 ribeyes for the price of a package of Chomps. And I'm like, I'll take those ribeyes, dehydrate them.
That's what we need to. We've been talking about the office, but this year, on our sausage party where we make like meat and stuff,
Yeah.
we're gonna do snack sticks. So we should just get be like, hey, how many? What
We
do you
need to
got?
just go to
We'll
town
just do
on
it and do
Yeah.
a couple 100 pounds of it and just
Well,
make it worth it.
I guess you need to get one of these big bore rifles and go shoot something, and you'll save money.
You'll say
I
that's
mean, you can't afford not to.
yeah. You'd be saving money if you buy one of these rifles.
Yeah, I think that's how that works out. It's almost the end of the year. We're like a week-ish. It's a week before Christmas.
Yeah,
Dude, are you done with your Christmas stuff?
Christmas shopping, I did pretty good. We've we've got family and we're flying this year, so we made
Pretty
it
minimal?
easy. Yeah, we're
Nice.
super minimal, and then even asking for gifts. Man, it just seems like everyone wants to get gifts. We're like, hey, we don't really need gifts. We're having a baby, so if you want to buy
Yeah.
something for the
How about
baby,
some
you can.
diaper money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all the life things. So, but no, we got out of it pretty easy. We did like gifts for all the nephews and stuff like that. But
Yeah. We're kind of like bypassing the gifts this year, like not fully, but just mostly, and we're gonna take the fam to Florida. I think, right? Like, I've got a pretty crazy travel schedule coming up.
this might be you might have the most crazy travel schedule in Q1 that I've ever seen.
It's gonna be a little bit rough, so I added a week because why not on the front end of it, and I'll go straight from Florida to SHOT Show.
Yeah, you'll get that family time, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. So plane tickets for Christmas.
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Have you been to this spot in Florida?
Yeah, we like to go to this certain island that's, my wife loves it. She found it somehow, from some Instagram influencer, and we went there the first time, like sight unseen, like we'll see. And the nice thing about going in January is it's like total off season. It's still not cheap, but it's like way cheaper than trying to go. And it's like comfy, like it's like 75, 80 degrees. I don't do
Yeah.
good when it's over 85 degrees. I'm like,
Yeah, and it's a good break when I've never been a beach guy until I moved to Wyoming,
Yeah.
and I could maybe be a beach guy,
Yeah.
but we got to go in January or February. So
I'm not good at sitting still on the beach for sure, but yeah, we found some cool things to do and we like that area. So my wife loves the beach and I'm super pumped for ski season. I feel a little bad that we're going to leave
prime ski
ski season, but it'll be really good to have that focused family time for a week before I'm gone for 3 months.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're going all over the place.
Yeah.
You got shows and international travel and everything in between.
First world problems.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining at all. So, yeah, man, I'm pumped for these. I think that you need to go and do a range day where you just shoot from 375 H&H up 378, 416, and 460, and let me know which one you like the best.
Yeah. Well, we should just do. It'd be actually a pretty fun video to be like, let's shoot them all in one day.
Just go through them all, yeah, and like try to like put a felt recoil analogy together of what it felt like on a scale of 1 to Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
It's gonna be to send that much energy out the muzzle. It's got to put some energy back into your shoulder. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go check them out. Come visit us at the shows. Subscribe to our newsletter list at weatherby.com, but our email is still the best way to get information to you.
Yeah, we pretty much will. And we got a lot of this is kind of a primer in December for product launches, but You're going to want to be keeping an eye out in January. We got a lot of new stuff in 2026. Pretty much January 7th through the first week of February, we got a new product like every week.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's exciting.
It's fun.
We
get to introduce all these new babies that we've been working on.
Yeah, some of them we've been working on for a while, so this will be great.
I'm pumped. All right, man. Thanks.
All right.